the supposed leader of the Senate, and Grinder Mike Johnson, the leader of the House, also don't want to be out on a ledge all alone, and in their case, naked, you know, literally and figuratively. They see their entire their personal power dynamics, their road to wealth and self-enrichment is all tied to this lunatic that is your president. So they're reticent to make waves, and it's hard to be the first. Great leaders like Martin Luther King had people with them, but they were not afraid to lead, right? To lead means you're out front, right? If you're leading troops, then you're on the front lines, right? You're leaning in, you're leading. And our politicians these days are, they are prefer to be all backbenchers and let somebody else be uh, the Vladimir Putin cannon fodder that takes the initial volleys, excuse me, of missiles, and they can still be standing in the back to pick up the pieces. People like Thune and Johnson, who have no courage and have completely violated the trust of their constituencies and of the electorate and the American people as a whole. And it's a horrible embarrassment. And I can also see corporate leaders. Who is it? They always talk about the senators like Carolina's Mr. Tillis. Uh, he's already not going to run for reelection, so he's free to be a little bit more vocal, and not without risk. I'm not saying that he's a. I was going to say a word that is not appropriate, but not. He's not a weakling for a coward. He's not a coward for worrying about real repercussions against his family. If I am talking a little bit funny, it's last yesterday morning's puppy walk. This is the weather report, was 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Last night was 1 degree either way of the same. I think it was about 13. And this morning was about 11. And the temperature, I am pleased to report, has skyrocketed now to, I think, about 17 degrees Fahrenheit. It's really pretty. I'm in the sun outside, which is wonderful on the 21st day of January in the year of our Lord 26. And it actually talk about the grace of God, if I may. It's also the birth date of my dear mother. Rest in peace. So a beautiful memory in so many uh, very meaningful ways. So back, back to your boy. So if you watched it, I mean, I apologize. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I'm sorry for your family. But what did we learn? We learned that he's doubling down on all of the same lies that he tells to his Fox News sycophants, Katie Millers and others. That just yes, Mr. Oh, Have you been working out, Mr. President? Because you look particularly fine today. You look buff. Is that a new suit? Your hair looks great. It's if you caught any of the Gavin Newsom show from Davos, he is on fire. Gavin Newsom. I don't know if the country at this time will elect a California Democrat to national office as president. I'm not sure that that's our best foot forward, but we've got a little ways to go. we haven't, we haven't conquered the midterms, which we should be slaying them, but they're gonna be doing, so many dirty tricks, it's gonna be silly, but, uh, Gavin, who we have to appreciate, for real, real spit and comic relief, you know, uh, both governors of Illinois and California, my mayor, Michelle Wu in Boston, and so many others have been doing yeoman's work, as they used to say a million years ago, fighting the good fight and staying in it, and swinging at the bullshit that keeps flying at all of us, and they're taking the lumps like courageous leaders, unlike the U.S. Congress, unlike the U.S. House of Representatives, unlike the U.S. Senate, unlike John Thune, the leader of the Senate. Right? It's an embarrassment on so many levels. Now the speech, of course, it's embarrassing as an American to see the president in our name, which he is doing. He's out there in our good name, bad name, or otherwise. He is leading in our name. The decisions that he makes are necessarily reflections on our country and our citizens, our fellow citizens. So that's embarrassing. But I think that in a Democratic Party talking point, I think the embarrassment is something that it's leaned on a little bit too much, and it sort of has lost any traction because it's Donald Trump, and he's been a fucking embarrassment for his entire adult life, and we've witnessed it. I mean, I certainly have been, as I've mentioned or confessed, because I'm a Boston guy that worked and spent a lot of time and lived a little bit part time um, uh, in New York, by the grace of a former female friend. It's the New York is the greatest city ever, except Boston. I have to say, Bruins. I think that's Bruins. I can't see. I'm just remembering what I put on my head, which is a dangerous game. We're in, we can be embarrassed, but we have to move on. We have to be concerned. The Greenland thing, and there's so many, Venezuela. But then there are the connecting tissue of the various um, events, the various crimes, the corruption, the damage to the judicial system, to the rule of law, the tariffs. I'm going to drop something in the feed later today. Um, just a magnificent report that I read last night. I'm going to go through it again today by a think tank from Germany, uh, analyzing in such excruciating detail the the effect of the tariffs on the individual U.S. consumer. And I won't jump to the punchline that what you knew is in fact true, and this backs it up in a delightful in English version, about more than 95% of the burden being borne by American consumers. The fictions about, well, China is paying the tariff. We knew that the first time we heard it, that it was bullshit, because he's done the same shit before in the first Trump and more recently. But that the companies were going to carry a lot of the weight for the American consumers, and then they'd make it up on, the sounds like the either the mob boss or the bad realtor story that you'll make it up on the back end, right? That, it'll all work out and it'll even out, but it ain't it ain't working. Um, so the one point I wanted to try to hammer home in, in a inelegant, manner. I saw the news story, this morning about JD Vance and his wife are expecting their 4th child, which that in and of itself, any news about his wife is magnificent. Any news about children born healthy and or loved in the world, ex magnificent. JD Vance's particular behavior in regards to his beautiful wife, Usha, who happens to be, of Indian descent and, practices her Hindu faith in addition to, helping her children learn about their, dear father's, Christian faith. Is, it's a dilemma because you wanna celebrate every good thing that happens to that lovely lady and her children. At the same time, her husband is praising and elevating Nazis and verbally, his verbatim comments are that Nazis in Germany, like OG Nazis, are not getting a break when it comes to free speech, right? And if you follow with much horror and detail, as I do, what's going on in France and Germany and other parts, and UK and, or excuse me, England and other parts of Europe, with the rise of, uh, Nazis, ultra right wing parties. There are a lot of different labels, but it boils down to the same thing. It's anti-democratic. It is dangerous because one of the commonalities of the party's platforms is, of course, their hatred for immigrants and people with black or brown skin. That is uniform throughout these many, parties. Right? Um, AFD and the French, equivalent under, Marine Le Pen. Right? Very, very, and Nigel Farage. It seems like Nigel's having a tough go right now, and, Mr. Robinson's probably going to end up in jail, but they're still out there. They're still breathing oxygen. And in Germany, they're going to have. It's a matter of how much success they have. They're going to have success, but are they going to be able to upset the entire electorate? There are some controls in Germany, and that's really what your boy JD Vance is screaming about. He doesn't give a shit about Germans. What he gives a shit about is countries that take responsible steps to control white Christian nationalism, like here in the United States, um, is contrary to his own beliefs and his quest for power, right? So he will join forces with the Nazis, in Germany and France if it helps him achieve his goals. Longer term implications for worldwide stability. JD Vance doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about anything except himself, which makes him very much like his boss right now. But as I posted earlier, we watched Trump, still an effective communicator at 79 and three quarters or whatever he is. I think his birthday's in June or July, something like that. When he'll be 80. But JD Vance is, a little more than half that. He is very well educated. He's extraordinarily well spoken. He is an effective communicator who's getting better. Donald Trump will not get better. It doesn't work that way. Um, I will. I will. I'll. I'll stick up for the old. No, I'm not going to stick up for the old guys in this because that would be contrary to my purposes and my power. No, Donald Trump will not get better, but JD Vance will get better. He will surround himself by more effective team members, more troubling and more effective. He has Peter Thiel. I was going to say he had Peter Thiel at the end of his dick, but that would be kind of weird. JD Vance has associations with very rich and powerful people. JD Vance used to work for Peter Thiel, right? After graduating. He is very well connected, very well funded, and money won't be an issue for JD Vance. He'll get as much money as he needs. That will happen. So we need to really what I watched today for me was blinking red lights warning the danger of the coming threat from JD Vance. Trump himself, effective communicator, declining asset for Vladimir Putin, yes. Not the man he used to be. Who amongst us is? Excuse me for gender conforming there. Not the human that he once was because of increasing age means declining a couple things, right? But we need to be. JD Vance is not running in the midterm elections, but that doesn't give us the latitude to ignore him until sometime that might be convenient down the line. That's how we got to where we are today, is looking past the chance of Trump coming back because, oh, well, he'll be in, as I probably snidely suggested myself, the only place he's going is Danbury, which, is one of the, popular federal correctional institutions in Connecticut for organized crime members and corporate types. Danbury, very popular. I don't know too much about where your homegirl Ghislaine Maxwell is. That looks like it's a fair amount of fun, kicks and giggles, and yoga and puppies. We learned about that. We looked past the possibility of Trump coming back because of the possibility of some judicial intervention that never happened because, breaking news, the Supreme Court was bought and paid for before he even entered the race officially. So, our mistake, paying for it every day. We're seeing the consequences of looking too far down the field. Then you miss the guy who is right up in your grill, right? You're looking, you're tall and way too handsome Tom Brady or Drake May, looking past a 300-pound but only 6-foot tall nose guard that's about to ruin your entire life because you're looking down the field. Now you have to do that in order to win the game. You have to be farsighted. You have to have vision, but you have to do it in an intelligent manner, right? And that's where we fucked up so badly in the last cycle. We learned our lesson though. So this is the siren call, the clarion call, the call whoever you like or phone a friend, is stay focused on this very dangerous man who, who tries to disclaim his wife for the color of her skin and is secretly or not so secretly embarrassed that his children are not white as Christmas. That's enough to tell you the character of that man, right? For me, I wasn't going to vote for him anyway, so let's not be disingenuous. Absolutely reprehensible behavior as a human being for somebody, your family, who you love and you sort of protect. So it's that was Davos Trump version was as horrible as we thought it was going to be. We had to watch it. We probably didn't. Not a lot of breaking news. I thought he'd be a little bit more gracious, if only to set them up to the Danes. Just in that context, in the context of that presentation, because that's what that was. That he would do a little bit better job at good Donald, bad Donald, and be a little bit more on the good side. But no, he brought out all the vinegar, the water, the other all forms of excrement, firm and soft, and he laid it all on the stage for everyone to see, right? And I haven't, because I'm here with you nice people, I haven't been watching the corporate leader, the Bloombergs and the other business news. I want to hear. Now corporate leaders will run away from making comments adverse to DJT because they don't want it. Like we talked about at the front end of this, they're not brave people. They are not courageous leaders at this moment. Some of them used to be. Some of them used to be quite courageous and effective leaders and been in place for decades. Well compensated, no violence, right? I'm going to stay focused on JD. I'm going to drop a few more comments and regarding the tariffs because this, as I said, it just drove home in exquisite detail the burden that is being borne by the U.S. consumer that is enabling. It's a shell game sort of thing. It's a fraud that is allowing also Donald Trump to accumulate to circumvent congressional authorizations, right? The normal order, right? Regular order, by accumulating these funds and uh, keeping them sequestered in Treasury, or as we saw with the sale from the Venezuelan oil is now sitting in not in KSA, but in uh, UAE in a bank. I was just talking to Dubai 15 minutes before the call here, and a little cool. It's only 70 something. Beautiful, and expensive, just like Dubai always is. But our U.S. funds, arguably Venezuelan funds, perhaps even arguably Chinese funds, because they had the contract on that oil, and I have not reviewed again any language about the prohibitions regarding the sale of Venezuelan oil to China, if any, and at what point in any process was it uh, uh, sequestered. And I don't know about any private deals that exist between the U.S. and China. The only deal that I'm almost certain exists is that we've agreed to be quiet on all things human rights in Taiwan in exchange for Xi Jinping allowing Trump to FAFO. And I do mean allow, because he's the dominant player in this game right now, particularly with the dynamics between where Putin stands over Trump with leverage and the relationship with Xi. It's complicated. It's not good for the United States, just as that speech was not good for the United States, just as Greenland is not good for the United States, just as Venezuela is not good, just as tariffs are bad for American consumers and for the country as a whole, just as the big beautiful bill is also bad for the American economy and people, because now it's great. Everything I just said is great for cheat code top 1%. Could be 2%, could be 2.75% of all Americans who are billionaires or likely to become billionaires or have family offices or trust instruments that allow them to avail themselves of particular tax treatments. They're all good. They're making out like bandits without committing actual crimes. Right? They're doing great. The rich are doing fantastic. Right? Bill Ackman, when he's not screaming about Mom Donnie being a second coming of Joseph Stalin, Bill's doing fine. All of those other hair on fire, silly people are doing great. So if you were worried about the billionaires, they're okay. If you are someone that says, well, if you chase all the billionaires out of New York, then New York will never be what it. No, that is proven to be false, because every time a Democratic administration threatens to perform well in a poll anywhere, it's like, well, all the billionaires are going to leave. They may go. They're going to go and hang out with DeSantis or Greg Abbott, in state tax-free zones. Sure, plenty have already gone. Some have relocated businesses there. That's great. Good for them. Happy. But then you got to be in DeSantis land, and they're shredding more books still. There was another story yesterday about what they were doing, trying, school departments are local, but DeSantis has a lot of power, and that he has, he has stripped 115 regulations in the last year with the support of the Trump administration, and a compliant state legislature, and a compliant state judiciary, and a compliant attorney general, the successor to your girl Pamela Jo Bondi. They're shredding up a lot of good laws, laws that protect the folks in our communities that need protection, are now being left blowing in the wind because Ron DeSantis wants to take care of the billionaires, and he is doing it. He's attracting more of them. You're a fan? I'm sorry for you. If you're not, then just be aware. Collective action, fight, punch back, figuratively, in a nonviolent way, of course, because we're hockey players. We're nonviolent. Almost 6 or 7 hours a day. So appreciate you guys. I will drop something in later on tariffs, and watch back if your stomach can handle it. Maybe eat lunch first or something, and then watch some of the Trump speech if you dare. And we'll be back with you shortly. Thank you very much. Have a great day today.